Okay, so Melissa, we're looking at your blog. It is the 7th of October. Okay, and so the first thing to say is it's amazing, and you're doing a fantastic job. I'm going to go through things one at a time. I did put some comments on the early posts you did, which were so your posts are very detailed. You say a lot and you write a lot.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. And probably, if anything, what I would say to you is maybe get better at condensing things.
Yeah.
If you're doing something like an analysis, because what's going to happen next is that you're going to choose a genre to work in, a film genre to work in, which is up to you. And so I'm going to get you to then look at the specifics of that genre. So rather than just looking at general film openings, you'll look at genre-specific ones.
Right.
And when you do that, it might be better just to get, you understand the kind of things that we're looking at clearly. So get better at just kind of summarising that, almost bullet pointing like that. But you have terminology is fantastic. You're highlighting your terminology, which is great. I think you're getting better at being specific about shots, about shot types, which is really important. So knowing those terms, knowing what's a close-up, a medium close-up, those sorts of things, and getting used to that, abbreviating them MCU, CU.
Right.
So getting into the habit of doing that. But I've got a sheet which will help you do that. I'll give that to you.
Okay.
But we've now got definitely enough general film opening analysis for sure. So looking at the things you've done since then, so this is fantastic. Awareness of genre. So it's at the kind of excellent level. Okay, so it's kind of AA star sort of level analysis. Okay, and you're talking about so you're remembering to talk about typefaces, that kind of thing. So you've got like the kind of micro details of it. It's very good. The prelim task you've also written about, and you've mentioned the things that we've talked about. Possibly it'd be good, like a little bit more, like how did you use white balance? How did you use focusing? What exactly does white balance achieve? So what do these things do?
Okay.
So you could, what would be really good would be to you could take a picture of the camera, get a Sony camera out, take a picture of it, and just explain what the different functions are, and explain how you use it. It doesn't need to be a big thing, but it's just like a sort of overview of using the cameras, how to use a tripod. And I think that when you're talking about Final Cut, I think we could have a little bit more detail about how to use it. And I think you've got the luxury really of being slightly ahead of the curve, so you've got time to sort of try things out. So I would encourage you to go into Final Cut and just experiment with it, and even though you've not got a huge amount of footage to work with, and it's not the best footage in the world, but you try and add a soundtrack to it, put some titles on it, that kind of thing. Just to experiment with it, because I truly believe that the best way to learn software is just by doing it. For me, anyway. As soon as anybody tries to tell me how to use software, I switch off and prefer just to play with it until it makes sense, and it is fairly intuitive. So I think things that you could do now are try and get deeper into Final Cut Pro and do things with your footage that is, try putting effects on it, see what different effects do, make it in black and white, put titles on. Ask me if you're not sure how to do any of those things. And then just slightly more detail on the technical aspects of how you light a shot. Because you've said. Yes, you've got your terminology, and you've talked about shot, reverse shot, and the 180 degree rule, which is really good. checking the white balance, zoom focus, you have to remember not to break the 180-degree rule, continuity, composition. So these are all really good points. But I think what I'd like to see you do is just be a little bit more technical generally. Okay. So what does white balance do? You know, what is the job of white balance? What is focusing? What's depth of field? Do you know what depth of field is?
Is that the one where it's like focus and split at the front and the rest is blurred?
Yeah. So the aperture, which you can change on cameras, affects the depth of field. So as well as letting more or less light in, it's the interplay between that and also the bigger the aperture is, the shallower the depth of field.
Okay.
So if you want to isolate a character, for instance, if you're shooting a person, you'll see this in films all the time, you know, because on film productions they use lenses that cost 50 grand. You know, that's how much a cinema lens costs. At least, and they go up from there, you know. So they're using lenses which are big, and the reason why they're big is because they can let tons of light in, so they can shoot in very, very low light without having no exposure, and they can also get really shallow depth of field. So if you look in films, often when you see a character in a film, the background is just a swirly, you know, a beautiful kind of swirly sort of thing. It's called, the Japanese invented a word for that, called bokeh, which is what that is. So it's that kind of blurry background out of focus. It's very filmic kind of look. And so it's DSLRs which have actually enabled people to achieve that, you know, at home. You never could have done. You know, you'll know from iPhone footage that everything's in focus all the time because the aperture is so tiny. The bigger you get, the narrower the depth of field. Interestingly, the new iPhone, you know, has attempts to kind of mimic that because it's got two lenses. One's a long distance one, and one's a short distance one, and it kind of does something clever, and it calculates what's in the foreground and deliberately makes the background blurry. But that's because we've all got used to that aesthetic, and we're all quite into it now, So, but other than that, and also start thinking about the Swede. Just start thinking about ideas for what you know, because you could, again, because you're in the luxury, you've got the advantage of being up to date with everything. You could take a lead on that.
I started to think about ideas for the final film opening things and just think about what to do. And I came up with an idea, but I didn't know what genre it would be.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a bad thing or if...
Not necessarily. What's the idea?
It was I haven't decided on the first shot, but the idea was it'd be kind of either blurred or a really dark first shot, and with children's voices, and then a man and a woman, and then a really loud gunshot, and then the heart monitors, and then the credits would come behind the beep of the heart monitor, and then it would just go straight a beep, and then it goes a really bright
seeing the light
thing,
right.
And then because my dad manages football things, so he was we've got a defibrillator. So
right.
You could
you've got a prop.
Yeah. So do that, and then maybe have them wake up or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. I mean that could be potentially many different genres, couldn't it? Because it depends if there's is there going to be a suggestion of afterlife coming back, sort of being at the point of dying, or is there going to be is it going to be just a drama, a drama? Is it going to be supernatural? Is it going to be, is it a sci-fi thing? There's lots of different directions it could go in. But that will depend on things like if there's a voiceover. So it could be a film where it starts with the death or near death of the protagonist, which is a device that's used in narratives in cinema quite a lot, isn't it? I'm thinking Carlito's Way. We've seen Carlito's Way. Great film. You should see Carlito's Way. But in the first scene in that is the protagonist, and he's just been shot. And you see strip lights going overhead like that, and because he's being wheeled into a thing, but he's sort of saying, and he's doing a voiceover and just saying, they shouldn't bother. I know, I'm done for.
Yeah.
This is it, sort of thing. So it's you know it could be a nice way to. So it sounds great. And there's the defibrillators. If you've got a defibrillator, you need to be using that defibrillator. It's a great prop. So yeah, it's a good one.
Okay.
Like it, and it could go. I mean, it's because one thing that some students sometimes do is they do a kind of hybrid genre. So they'll do a film which kind of fits into more than one genre, which is good because you know, you're looking at two different genres, but it actually adds to the workload because you're then having to research and think about two different genres. So I think one thing I would say is try and make a decision about the genre that you're going to work in. But it could just be a just a drama, just a kind of you know, I don't know, psychological drama, thriller.
Yeah.
Thriller might be a good one.
That could be interesting. I need to think of like a plot line. I don't know why it's been shot. But
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it, and you'll be able to you know, the kind of animation of the heart rate monitor. It could be a thing that you can do loads with.
Okay.
I'll show you how to do that. So yeah, it's good, and I'm really glad you're thinking about it at this stage. It's good. So overall, very impressed, and you've made a great start to the course. Are you enjoying it? Are you happy?
Yeah. I really like
Good.
it.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Melissa.